Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about one of the most significant developments in this entire conflict, a moment that could reshape the war and shift the balance of power in ways we haven't seen before. Ukraine has deployed long-range missiles against the Kerch Bridge once again, and this strike isn't just another attack. It is a strategic signal, a calculated move, and a powerful message that shows just how far Ukrainian capabilities have evolved. What we're seeing now is not just a military operation, but a turning point that exposes vulnerabilities Russia has been trying to hide since the beginning of the war. The Kerch Bridge has always been one of Russia's most prized assets. It connects mainland Russia directly to Crimea, serving as a lifeline for troops, equipment, fuel, and supplies. When Ukraine targets this bridge, it's not just hitting infrastructure. It's cutting into the heart of Russia's logistics. This time, the attack demonstrates Ukraine's growing ability to strike deep behind enemy lines with long-range precision weapons that Russia cannot fully stop. This strike wasn't rushed or chaotic, it was deliberate. Satellite imagery, drone surveillance, and intelligence coordination all played a role, and the impact was immediate. Russian officials rushed to block reports, shut down parts of the bridge, reroute traffic, and claim everything was under control. But the truth is that such reactions reveal panic. If your most important structure is truly safe, you don't scramble to hide the damage. Ukraine's long-range capability is one of the biggest questions of the war. For a long time, Russia assumed Ukraine couldn't hit strategic targets inside Crimea consistently. They believed geography protected them. They believed distance protected them. And they believed their air defenses were strong enough to stop anything Ukraine launched. But this strike proved that Russia's assumptions were wrong. Ukraine's reach is increasing, and Russia's ability to defend its key assets is shrinking. The Kerch Bridge is more than concrete and steel. It is a political symbol for the Kremlin. It represents Russia's claim to Crimea. It represents strength and permanence. So every time Ukraine hits it, the message is loud and clear. Crimea is not safe, Russia is not secure, and Moscow cannot guarantee protection even over its most guarded landmarks. That message hits not only the military, but also the civilians in Crimea and inside Russia who believed the war was far away. This strike also shows how Ukraine has adapted its tactics. Early in the war, Ukraine relied on smaller drones and short-range artillery. Now they're using advanced long-range systems, many of which were developed rapidly or provided by allies. These weapons travel far, fly low, avoid radar, and strike with accuracy. Russia's air defense systems, once thought to be layered and impenetrable, are being bypassed again and again. Every successful hit exposes a weakness Russia was hoping nobody would notice. The damage to the bridge may not destroy it entirely, but that's not the point. The real impact is psychological and logistical. Every time Russia repairs the bridge, it costs time, money, and manpower. Every time Ukraine hits it, Russia must rethink its supply routes. And the more complicated those routes become, the weaker Russia's frontline positions become. A war is not won only by tanks and soldiers. It is won by maintaining supply, fuel, ammunition, and communication. When a bridge like this becomes unreliable, everything downstream becomes unstable. Another fascinating part of this development is how Ukraine is now shaping the battlefield without even stepping foot on it. They are strategically isolating Crimea. They are reducing Russia's ability to move heavy equipment. They are making it harder for Russia to reinforce troops. And they are pushing Russia into a defensive position where every loss becomes more painful than the last. This attack also highlights the importance of timing. Ukraine didn't fire long-range missiles randomly. They waited for the exact moment when Russian defenses were weakest. They attacked when movement on the bridge was high. They struck when weather conditions favored accuracy. And they executed with precision that shows real strategic discipline. This is a sign of a military force that has matured significantly over the course of the war. Russia's reaction speaks volumes. They rushed to blame foreign weapons. They rushed to minimize the attack. They rushed to claim that everything was functioning normally. But if everything were normal, the bridge wouldn't need to be closed. If everything were safe, there wouldn't be smoke and emergency crews rushing to the scene. Each time Russia tries to hide the truth, it becomes even more obvious that Ukraine's strikes are working. The long-range missile used in this strike is a key part of the story. These missiles aren't just powerful, they are smart. They can follow pre-planned routes, adjust their path mid-flight, and evade certain types of air defense. This makes them extremely difficult to shoot down. Russia's usual defensive tactics, jam radar, intercept early, or scramble fighter jets, don't always work. Ukraine is exploiting these gaps in Russia's defenses, showing that no matter how much Russia fortifies, vulnerabilities remain. Another important factor is the growing role of intelligence. Ukraine now has satellite data, reconnaissance drone footage, input from Allied surveillance systems, and even on-the-ground information from resistance groups inside Crimea. This multi-layered intelligence network allows them to target with accuracy that would have been impossible years ago. This is why Ukraine can hit specific sections of the bridge rather than random parts. The Kerch Bridge attack is also part of a bigger strategy. It's not just about destroying the bridge, it's about making it unreliable. If Russia cannot safely move tanks or armored vehicles across, they will need to use slower, less efficient routes. If supplies have to be rerouted by sea, they become easier to target. If rail transport becomes disrupted, Russia will struggle to support its troops in southern Ukraine. All these small pressures combine into something much larger. This is how modern warfare works. Not by capturing every inch of land quickly, but by weakening the enemy until their position becomes unsustainable. Ukraine understands this. They are using long-range strikes to degrade Russia's overall ability to wage war, and the Kerch Bridge remains one of the most damaging places to hit. The political impact cannot be ignored. Inside Russia, the bridge is seen as a national achievement. When it gets hit, millions of people notice. It breaks the narrative of strength that the Kremlin tries to project. It raises questions about the military. It raises questions about leadership. It raises questions about the future of Crimea. This creates pressure, and political pressure often translates into military hesitation. What we're also seeing is a shift in confidence. Ukraine feels more capable. They feel more empowered. Their commanders trust their targeting systems. Their soldiers trust their intelligence. Their allies trust their commitment. And this confidence fuels momentum. Every successful strike encourages more cooperation and more support. This cycle strengthens Ukraine's position not only on the battlefield but also diplomatically. The humanitarian impact also matters. Civilians in Crimea are beginning to panic because they realize the war is now reaching them. They hear explosions regularly. They see smoke from strategic facilities. They experience road closures and emergency alerts. They understand that the safety they once believed in is disappearing. This puts pressure on Russian authorities, who must now manage both military and civilian concerns. Russia is responding by increasing security around the bridge, adding new defense systems, deploying more patrols, and attempting to strengthen its naval presence. But these efforts are reactive. They are not solving the core problem. Ukraine can strike again, and they will strike again when the opportunity is right. This constant threat forces Russia to stretch its resources thin, defending everything while controlling less. This strike also fits into a wider series of Ukrainian operations aimed at dismantling Russian power across Crimea. From hitting airfields to damaging radar stations to destroying ammunition storage sites, Ukraine is systematically degrading the region's military infrastructure. The Kerch Bridge attack is simply one of the most visible pieces of this larger puzzle. Ukraine is also using these strikes to prepare for future operations. If the bridge becomes unusable, Russia cannot reinforce Crimea quickly. If reinforcements slow down, Ukraine gains a huge advantage. This could shape the long-term outcome of the war, making Crimea vulnerable not just to strikes but to broader strategic pressure. As we move forward, more long-range attacks are expected. Ukraine is investing heavily in technology. They are training with new systems. They are coordinating more closely with allies, and they are refining their targeting methods. Russia's ability to defend Crimea is weakening with each passing month. The Kerch Bridge will likely remain a primary target because it is both practical and symbolic. The world is watching closely because these developments affect global stability. Every successful strike raises questions about Russia's long-term control over Crimea. Every explosion sends shockwaves through political, military, and diplomatic circles. And every sign of weakening Russian infrastructure opens the door to new possibilities. Ukraine's deployment of long-range missiles is not just a tactical decision. It is a strategic shift. It shows determination, it shows capability, and it shows that Ukraine is willing to challenge Russia's strongest positions. The Kerch Bridge may still be standing, but it is no longer a secure asset. Its vulnerability is now exposed for everyone to see. What happens next will depend on how Russia responds and how Ukraine continues to evolve its strategy. But one thing is clear, the battlefield has changed. The balance has shifted, and the strike on the Kerch Bridge is a sign of what's coming next.